This episode of Trials and Trebuchets is brought to you by Fanroll Dice. If you're in the market for some new, top-notch dice, and who am I kidding, folks? We're all always on the prowl for some shiny rocks, then look no further than fanrolldice.com. Whether it's their bewitching liquid cores, a pack of trusty misfit metals, or even a set of oh-so-endearing miniature dice, you'll find anything you're looking for and more at fanrolldice.com. And don't forget to use our code TRIALS10 at checkout for 10% off your order of new little crit machines. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 225 of Trials and Trebuchets. I'm your dungeon master, joined by all my players whose names are.
I'm joined to Luke, I guess. My name is Ben, and I play the level 12 gnome wizard Windsor Wallaby, along with his cutty little companion, Mr. Wiggles.
Meow!
I am not joined, I'm conjoined. Hi, it's me, Carla, and I play the level 12 Tiefling Roguelike Integrity Isla Idleberry, the cutest tiefling in town.
That's true, because Boo's not around anymore.
Ooh. Yeah. And fuck Syndra. I'm kidding, I love Syndra. I'm sorry, I just want to be the cuter one.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I play Mira Marchand, the level 12 half-elf bard. Function : deactivate old Philip / downloading new Philip core files, extract files, new _Philip _core.zip, install new core files, function main, deactivate old Philip, install new Philip, / start execution.
For the audience, the best part of that was seeing Sarah read out of the corner of their eyes, something that was very obviously on their screen.
Hi, I'm Sam, and I play the level 12 human sorcerer Sarah and
Cinderman.
I'm 1 year older, and my boyfriend's back. Yay!
You stole my fucking joke! And last time on Trials and Trebuchets, the students squashed some beef and agreed to 10 weeks of peace for Dessa, their mentor, Truebeard. Winsler did some gardening, Integrity signed up for a 1,200 gold piece apprenticeship, Mira started her print empire, and Sarnap Cinderman aged 1 whole year.
In 1 day.
And Philip Maisel returned. That's their mentor, Truebeard. That's her name.
Yes.
We find ourselves, Winsler, Integrity, Mira, accompanied by one wine-drinking Delnus, sitting at the dining room table of one Sarnap Cinderman, still somehow having this massive room and having a dining room. It's a mystery to us all.
We had our families here.
Yeah, I hosted.
It's great.
You have been this evening celebrating your good friend and teammate, Sarnap Cinderman's birthday. A knock had just come at the door. Sarnap had rushed away in a hostly haste. And Sarnap Cinderman, you look out of your door and see one Philip Maisel, Timothy Chalamet looking in his state with golden eyes, a twinkle in them, almost like the stars are shining from within. He has just pulled back his sleeve of his pristine Wildcliff robe and put out a single, very formal hand to shake yours, and he said, "It's been a very long time, Sarnap." And he's now standing here waiting for you to shake his hand back, waiting patiently, awkwardly.
I think Sarah is just kind of like, in the moment, kind of like bypass the hand and just hug him.
Oh, he will take a very, when you like move past the hand, he will very like, he'll go, and like step back away from you and like put a hand up and he'll say, "Oh no, sorry.
Sorry,
And he looks away for a second. He goes, I'm just, I just returned from travels, so maybe not that. Maybe that would be not great to do right now for me to do to me. Sorry about that.
No, it's just, it's...
May I come in?
Sure, yeah.
And he smiles greatly. His eyes crinkle. He waits for you to step aside. You gesture for him to come in. He'll come in very quickly and efficiently, take his small traveling boots off. Sarnap, you look down at them. They do not seem traveled And per se, you would assume someone might have dirt on their shoes if they had traveled recently. Pristine, great looking. They look like they just came off the shelf at your local Gelid Trotters.
Are we all still in the room?
You guys are in the room. You can hear this happening from the hallway. Yeah, you hear.
I'm definitely like tugging at Integrity's sleeve, like, what's going on?
I think as he's taking off his boots, like I've closed the door and I'm kind of walking back into the main dining room.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be like, did you? I would look over my shoulder. Did you want to come sit with us? Or
Oh, I would love to come sit with you. Is there people over? Sorry, I didn't think about that when I came.
Oh,
And
no,
you will walk over and around the corner. You all see a pristine, well-groomed looking Philip Maisel. He will regard you all with yellow eyes.
When was the last time that we all saw Philip?
The last time you all saw Philip would have been probably the Autumn's End Festival, if not like around exam period.
That was a long time.
It was a
Yeah.
long time ago.
Oh my gosh, look, it's Philip.
He looks at you and will smile, and he'll open his mouth for a second. And he'll say, "Yes, that is, I am. Hi, hello,
Hi, it's been so long since we've seen you.
Hello.
Hey,
Yes,
you're
it has been-
safe! Wait, Serenep, do you want us to, like, go? Because it's totally okay if you guys need to have, like, a personal moment here.
No."
And I give her, like, 2 big thumbs up.
And he like waves his hand very quickly and goes, "No, there's no need for that tonight,
Oh,
this evening."
oh, got it. Okay.
He'll look to you, Serenap. He's standing next to you, but a healthy distance apart from you. Like maybe like a comfortable enough space for, Lem. And he'll look at you and say, I apologize so much for coming and interrupting this evening. I must not have been thinking clearly, obviously. Would you mind at all of you, and he'll pause and look at you all and say, Winsler, Integrity, Mira, and Delnus Wraithrin, if I took a seat with you all?
No, yeah, go ahead. Here, Integrity stands up, pulls up a chair, offers it to Philip, and I'm gonna be
Yes.
like, "Do you want any food? We have some food here. You want a drink?
There's some really
You
good
want some
punch over
water?
there."
You want some juice?"
No, maybe a small cup of punch. Yes,
I'll go.
And he
I'll
will-
go get that. It's
He'll
okay.
walk over to the chair where you've gestured Integrity, and he will sit comfortably.
How does he look now that he's close up with us?
In what way do you mean?
Well, does he look different? Because Mira doesn't know him that well, but he's acting weirdly for the situation. I don't think it takes an
Maybe-
incredibly insightful person to know that.
Maybe like, how is he presenting himself? Like, what are his like mannerisms and like his idle state?
Make insight rolls. Make insight checks.
I would
Mira-
like to
or
do
if
that
you want to
as well.
inspect Mira's like physical being, you can make like an investigation if you want.
Yeah, sure, I'll make that. That is a 13. I had to see if it was a 13 or 18. Plus 4, that's a 17.
Okay.
I also got a 17 for insight.
I have a non-natural 20
For insight.
Non-natural 20
for insight.
for insight.
Okay. So Mira's investigation of 17. What's this guy physically doing? What's up? with
Yeah.
him? The eyes are much more yellow, like completely yellow. There's a bit of a glow
Ooh.
emanating from them, which is a bit further along than the progression you had seen last you'd seen this man. He's sitting like bolt upright, there's a stick for a spine. What else? Back to the eyes. There's like a little gleam, a little shimmer, almost like there's like candlelight reflecting in them or like starlight reflecting in them. But maybe that's just from like the fire in the corner, What else would you be looking at in terms of physicality?
Is he injured in any way? Anything like that?
No, he seems to be in very good health. He looks well fed, and he doesn't look like he's been like thrown in a dungeon, as it were, and starved for a while. He looks well fed. His robe is again pristine. Like all of his garments look to be very fresh and very new. Even like that Wildcliff robe he seems to be wearing.
Absolutely.
In terms of y'all's insight rolls, Integrity, Winsler, Integrity. Sorry, he's getting to me. Integrity, Serenepth, Winsler. Yeah, it doesn't take a genius to realize that he's something is fundamentally wrong with the way he is acting here. You're uncertain if that is, or at least Winsler, you're uncertain if that is like, oh, he might just be tired. The small part of your brain says that, but you don't really believe that as you examine him. His motions seem to be very exact. His like facial expressions very deliberate, where he's looking and who he's looking at, and the words he's saying very precise. And every single time he like opens his mouth to speak, the three of you can very easily identify there's like a little gap between when he like seems to start a thought and then actually voice it.
So, Philip,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I hope you don't mind me asking this. It's been such a long time since we've last seen you. How have you been? Any fun experiences?
He'll look to you in the eyes and he'll like kind of like look around the room, a careful 2 seconds of eye contact with everyone, and then he'll reach forward to the cup that you had placed in front of him, Sarah, of punch. He'll take a very, very tiny sip of it and go, a bit too tart, and put it down. And then he'll say, well, I had just checked in with Headmaster Crow before I came here, which was, I believe I gave him quite a bit to think about. He seemed quite distressed by the circumstances of my late arrival. But no, I wouldn't say I was up to anything fun or exciting, if you don't mind me saying.
Well, it's good to hear you're okay. Serenif was talking about you guys being seen as traitors now, and I mean, there were all of these wanted posters when we were in Integrity's hometown, and like...
Oh, yes. Of course. Well, that whole affair is quite messy, yes. Mira, you could make a persuasion check for me.
Yeah, I'll make a persuasion check. Mira knows what it's like when someone's partner comes back from a school break and is acting different in many ways.
Very odd.
Okay, that was a 12 plus 13, so 25.
He
Plus 13?
makes a face. You make this kind of like, hey, what's up with that? And he seems almost like hesitant to continue forwards. You see like another one of these like stutters. You see he forms a thought and then takes a breath and then will continue after like a second or two of like pause and will say, that affair is to this day quite messy. Well, and he'll look to you, Serenop Cinderman, and he'll say, I was not able to make it out of the capital, Eros. I was brought before good King Frederick, and we had a private audience, the two of us, where he seemed a bit more lenient than I think he otherwise would have been. And he looks off into the corner where no one is sitting when he says that, almost like he's trying to like think. Again, you all of you who are like very carefully examining him, it seems as though he's trying to remember something that happened a very long time ago, not something that happened like a season and a half ago. And he says, after the private audience, he was, and he thinks for 5 seconds in silence, and he blinks a couple times. He says, oh yes, he was kind enough to grant me clemency, provided that I helped look for my parents who had fled to the Gleam. Yes, that is exactly what happened. Yes,
You
guys.
first, Sam, you
yeah,
first.
what's up, y'all? Audience members, hands flew up after that one.
Okay, can I,
Yeah.
because I scried him on a
That's
boat,
correct. On a
going
boat.
somewhere.
Saren Cinnamon, his story checks out. The Emerald Gleam is east-southeast of the capital Eros. There's a branch of islands within the ocean there,
Okay.
informally known as the Gleam, which is in reference to the name of the ocean itself and the islands there. This story checks out. You saw him headed east on a boat. This is true of what he is saying. You can ascertain, yes. Mira, did you have something? Or Sarah, did you have something?
Yeah. Mira's going to look left and right and just going to like blink a couple of times, and I think that Mira is going to have to ask Philip to make
yes.
a wisdom saving throw.
Oh my god, we're casting a spell?
Yeah, we're detecting his thoughts, baby.
Oh my god.
Yes.
What if he
gonna
just
try
doesn't
to
have any
subtle spell
thoughts?
this.
What if his
So,
head is just
are you
empty?
gonna
What if his head is just
past
empty?
just like the surface level thoughts, and you're just
No,
digging
I
deep
want
immediately?
surface level thoughts.
Okay.
Because I don't want to cause a blow up of what he's doing, but it seems like I don't have like detect magic, but I feel as though
I do.
I have enough of an understanding of enchantment magic that it seems like something has been cast on him, and I would like to probe.
So you cast detect thoughts. He gets a 7.
Okay, so
Oh,
that
damn.
does not succeed, I believe. Yeah, that does not succeed.
And you subtle spell it. So you just blink a couple of times, and then you send out with your understanding of the arcane a quiet psychic probe that you feel brush up against his consciousness, and you begin to open a one-way link into what he is thinking. Surface level thoughts?
Yes, what is most on his mind at the moment?
Most on his mind? You hear proverbial crickets.
Interesting.
There's nothing, which is
Okay.
a novelty. You've probably cast a spell a handful of times, and even when people aren't talking or looking, he's looking around, he's taking in information, but you do not hear him like thinking like, oh, look at Winsler, it's so great to see these people. Oh my god, it's so nice to be here. Or, oh, the punch is tart. You might see him. He reaches Mira for the glass. He takes another small sip. You do not hear a single thought across his brain, and then he'll say out loud, oh, that is far too tart, and he'll put it down again.
Okay, I want to keep that up while he's talking. I'm assuming
Okay.
I just won't hear anything, but that is very interesting.
Yes.
Sarah doesn't know what she's like. I could get you some water if it's...
No, I would never. And he puts a hand up and he goes, no, don't, please do not go out of your way just for my sake. I'm only here for a short time after all, or here in this room with here. I've been traveling for quite some time, and rest would be very appreciated. I might retire to my own chambers shortly. Mira, nothing.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, why not stay for a little bit longer? Maybe like 10, 15 minutes, I mean, it's been so long since we've seen you, and we just want to, catch up a little bit more. Like, there's no harm in a little bit of extra time, right? And then we'll
No.
let you go, and you can get
I
some
suppose
rest.
that is right. It would be great to spend time among classmates and friends.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
As soon as Philip agrees, I'm going to plop my book down on the table and just pretend like I'm just like flipping through it and like reading and
Yeah.
stuff. But I am going to be ritual casting detect magic while also
Love
reviewing
that.
my notes on the Yogg prototype.
Yes, of course.
Notes that we have.
Of course. All the Golem notes
All the
that are
Golem notes.
registered in your spellbook. Just for added flavor of all this, Delnis is sitting in a chair near you, Mira. She's now leaning back, and her eyes are squinting over at Philip as she quietly sips on her wine. Probably her, 7th glass of the night.
Jesus.
Integrity, are you up to anything? While Winsler and Mira are discreetly casting spells. Make a stealth check, Winsler.
Oh, fuck.
Side note, because you're not subtle spelling anything, you wizard.
Stealth?
Yep.
Oh, that's a 15. It'll have to do.
Oh, a 15 will have to do. Yes, that is what you achieve as you subtly do this. Integrity, anything on your end?
Well, 10 to 15 minutes here is wonderful. If you ever feel tired, you could also take a nap in the couch.
Oh, I would never dream of doing such a thing. That would be such a breach of personal space and just boundaries, I believe.
Now that doesn't feel like a Philip thing to say or do. Not accept a sleep on a couch offer?
Well, that's perfectly reasonable. I was just offering in case, you're so tired. You said that you've traveled for a long time, and the couch looks so comfortable and soft, and if you really want to sleep, you can fall asleep right there.
He
Sort of
doesn't.
just going through a range of emotions right now, and this is the weirdest conversation I've ever heard. What?
He does not blink once as you say that, and he nods amicably the entire time and says, "That is a good argument, but I would still be required to sleep in my own quarters. Thank you."
Required.
So not to be rude, Philip, but what are you doing back on campus? If you had that mission to, find your parents, are they here?
No, we were completely unsuccessful. And the king, keeping up his end of good King Frederick, keeping up his end, allowed me to return.
Well, that
with
must be
clemency.
really relieving.
Oh, Mir Marchand, you have no idea how relieving it has been. A weight off my shoulders, as I would say.
Have they... I mean, how is everything home? I mean, when was the last you were home?
Oh, short. He stops for a moment. Mir Marchand. This moment, when Serenith asks about this, you hear the mental equivalent of some wind, whatever that means to you. There is a slight noise that transpires or ebbs into your awareness as you detect his thoughts. Not thoughts or emotions or feelings or words, but this energy of thought emanates off of him for this first time. When Serenith asks him about home, he'll blink a couple times and then open his mouth and have this very albeit stupid expression for a couple of seconds, 5 seconds. Mira, you hear this kind of noise of thought occurring, and then he'll nod and he'll look over to you, Seraph, and say, "Well, I suppose you're asking about the nameless traitors, yes? I was in the capital just last week, right before I began my journey here to Wildcliff School of the Arcane. They are quite a confounding element, I believe, but I don't think that's any concern of yours. The good King Frederick seems very willing to offer clemency to those who would seek private audiences with him." And he almost stumbles over those last words and kind of gulps a little bit. Mira, you hear the sound of a mind churning away somewhere under there. And as soon as he stops speaking, that sound disappears once more. And he kind of gulps a couple times. And this time does take a full sip of his punch. And he will make a little face and put it down again.
Well, what of the prince in this case then? Because as I remember the last time I saw him, he didn't seem very happy with the idea of letting bygones be bygones in that case.
The prince. Good Prince Frederick. I have not seen him since that day, in all honesty. And he takes a very ragged breath. Mira, you hear the churning sound of a mind. It seems as though it is under some pressure right now.
Do I notice that he's starting to have some struggle?
You would
with
definitely
this?
notice him tripping over his words a bit more and taking deeper breaths. And once you ask this question, Serenap, he'll go, maybe I am much more tired than I had first imagined. I might retire now, in fact. Winslow Wallaby, how long does it take to cast your Detect Magic as a ritual?
In order to cast Detect Magic as a ritual, I have to extend the casting time to 10 minutes.
Ooh. Philip puts his hands on the table, and I'll offer you this option, Winslow. It does not seem as though he's going to stay for 10 minutes. It seems as though he is very deliberately about to... He stands up. If you would like, you can just cast it using a spell slot as opposed to as a ritual, because it seems he is about to leave.
Damn, I suppose I'm going to have to do that, aren't I? Yeah, I'll cast Detect Magic using a spell slot, my valuable spell slot.
By all means. You roll your eyes a little bit, hurry through the incantation, but get it out in a hurried breath under your sounding very wizardly. Your eyes glaze over. No one else notices. It's like the membrane that lizards have on their, or birds have on their eye, like that additional eyelid. And it just kind of glazes over your eye. You look around the room. You see a bunch of magic. Some of it's coming off of integrity. A bunch of it's coming off integrity, actually. You see some coming off of Mira's arm. Delnus is just like a fucking spotlight of magic right now. In fact, actually, you just see a glowing person holding a glass of wine. And then from Philip standing there, he looks over at you for a second with a very worried look upon his face, Winslow Wallaby. And you see his face, body, neck, robe situation. No magic emanates, but his beautiful, beautiful yellow eyes are lit up brilliantly with, let's say, a blue color that you would know is associated with abjuration.
Ooh. That's fun.
And he looks at you when you do this very worldly for a moment. Mira, are you still detecting thoughts?
It only lasts for 1 minute, so no.
Dang. Okay. As Winslow casts this spell, your link severs and he stands. He gets a worried look on his expression, or a worried expression upon his face, and he'll shake his head and say, "Okay, it has been very nice seeing all of you this evening. I hope that the semester can proceed and we can return to regular relationships of friendship."
Yeah, it's been fun catching up with you. I hope you get some good rest at least.
Thank you very much. He will
Yeah,
stand.
good to see you too.
He will nod to you, Serenap, and say, "Happy birthday, Serenap." And then he will very briskly walk and kind of bump into the table and rush out of the room. You hear him. He doesn't even put his shoes on. He just picks them up and opens the door, and you can hear him walk out of the hallway.
Bye, Philip.
The door closes.
All right, so that was a little strange.
Yeah, Serenap, are you good?
I was just really hoping that nothing was going to happen to him.
Yeah. I mean, look, I have a spell that can, get rid of magic, but I don't know if that would do anything. Obviously there was something and Mira sort of awkwardly looks over to Delnus for just half a second and is so I sort of looked into what he was thinking because I thought somebody might have been.
She
and
goes.
it-
She like poof, like
Yeah.
lets out a, like a little chortle and like and like coughs a little bit. You can carry on with your thoughts.
but it was nothing for most part. And then when he was talking about like family stuff, he sort of. It seemed like he was straining. I don't really know, but it sounds like they probably did something pretty messed up.
While
I mean,
Mira is going through the motions with that,
Yes.
I am going to compare the. I guess I'm going to compare what I saw in Philip's eyes, like that abjuration sort of magic signature, and see if I can correlate that to any sort of magical signatures that are associated with the golems. To see if they're related or if they're similar.
Yes. Make an Arcana check for me.
You can talk integrity.
Y'all carry on.
I was about to say, like, the thing is, like, I don't know if this is... His eyes were definitely different. I'm not sure if it's just what happened well, whatever happened back home, or if it's partly due to what happened in the... And I glance over to Winsler, like, what had happened before.
what's up with him saying that he had a private audience with the king?
I'm not to have a private audience with the king. It does, pleading your case, making I promise a deal. It sounds like something that might happen, and I mean, if it is something that's happening, I just don't. It's confusing to believe what he's saying, even though it checks out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds like maybe that meeting involved some sort of changing.
Yeah.
Winsler Wallaby, what did you get on your Arcana check?
It's not great. I got a 16.
16. I think you're competent enough. You have good enough notes. Plus, you created golems. You taught people how to do this.
True.
16 is, by all means, for you well enough. There's quite a few abjuration wards that are placed upon like a golem's gemstone or the crystal, the tier that they use, as well as just like on some of like the more prone to failure joints, those kind of things. So his eyes lighting up with like that abjuration magic, it does speak to you similar to like the crystals on these newer golems that are on campus, or the tiers on the old ones such as Toll, Yogg, and Ari, or even Stowe, down there in the depths.
Well, I think it might have something to do with that whole thing that you brought up, Saraneth. I think it's gotten a lot worse.
Remember before he was talking about how I guess connected he was with the school? Maybe that's part of the reason why he wanted to come back here in the first place.
Maybe. I mean, take a look at this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like slide my book over. Maybe everyone else can see it if they want to.
Absolutely.
It's like there's a whole bunch of information here about the wards that golems get and like some of the magic that they're enchanted with and such. When I cast Detect Magic to see if there was anything actually going on with Philip, nothing really gave off anything except his eyes. His yellow eyes, they were glowing blue when I was detecting magic, and that was the same sort of energy that I saw that some of these enchantments and wards on these golems are using.
Do you know what the wards do to the golems?
Not exactly. There's a whole bunch of different wards.
Yeah, there's probably like 20 or so. Some of them are for protection against like being simple things like being smashed. Some of them are so advanced as to be like things that allow those tiers or crystals to be used as like centers of perception, letting them see through it or letting them perceive smells and stuff like that through them. It's a whole host of different things.
It's possible that whatever he was affected by down in the depths that we were in might have been some sort of enchanting liquid or like liquid magic of some sort, and over time his body was processing this magic, and I don't exactly have any idea what that substance is going to do to an actual person, like a living organic creature.
Delnis will lean in and say, I don't know if it's wanted. And she like sets her glass down and kind of like looks at it a bit, and she makes a face of someone who just realizes they've drank a lot in the evening. And they'll say, if that's the case, and it's like, oh goodness, it's probably affecting his eyes and brain and nervous system, it might, and she looks at you, Mira, and say, it might not end very well for him, if you can read between the lines, if you try to dispel that.
Oh
dear.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay. Okay, that's good to know.
So it's something to keep in mind, but maybe watch him. And she leans back.
Watch him. I'm sure we can look into this. Serenep, are you okay?
Yeah. I think we should probably wrap up this evening. Thank you guys so much for coming over. This was a lot of fun. But we'll hang out at breakfast tomorrow, and yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And so your friends file out as Serenep, and you can lock the door behind them. I presume you are beside yourself with some of your thoughts of wishing that he was okay, hoping that he was okay as you get to sleep that night.
Yeah.
Another day, another week, another time, distant and separated from this wonderful and joyous birthday party. Weeks removed, probably. We find ourselves in a humid room. It is horrifically early in the morning. The four of you have been assembled here by the one and only, by the one and only Integrity Idleberry, for a purpose on her end, which is to say that she owes someone a favor. Now, the four of you are assembled. There's a couple other people in this room, but we'll get to them in a second. The four of you are assembled. It's probably, again, 5 a.m., horribly. You are in a basement of a basement below the zoology building. You are in a room which you've never come into before, or you've been in once before, a while ago, after you'd returned from Isethel. There is a well-tended to small pool with lanes set up for swimming in. There is a very bright-eyed and bushy-tailed young human woman. She has like light brownish skin and dark brown hair and brown eyes. She looks all to the world plain. She's wearing a swimsuit with the Wildcliff royal blue and deep red colors, looking oh so excited. She has a bucket full of swim caps and glass enchanted goggles. She has a whistle around her neck. She looks far too excited this early in the morning. The four of you are assembled here. Please, for my own sake and for our audience, what is the swimsuit situation for all of you as you are here at your obligatory swim club meeting?
Are we all wearing our own type of swimsuits? Is that
you can, or you can have like this exact same one that you can look like birds of a feather and be wearing the same one Lucia is wearing as well. That standard issue, obviously it's a standard issue, Wildcliff blue and red one.
I think Serenep is wearing that. Is it like the uniform of like she's like kind of wearing like I guess the uniform sort of thing. I think the only difference is that she got like these like swim shorts.
Yeah, of
to
course.
also wear just because I don't know, water's cold.
Just better, yeah.
Just better.
I don't know if Mira can get the prosthetic arm wet is the thing that I was thinking.
Yeah.
So I don't know
on
if
the
Mira
side.
would have come dressed to swim. Like, I'm not sure.
Absolutely, by all means. So Mira shows up in her pajamas.
I feel like, no. I imagine she's wearing a swimsuit, but she's wearing a swimsuit
Like
that
a-
is designed to be worn for fashion. Like it's like a light green bikini top with white polka dots, but then it's like the bottom is one of those like she has like swimsuit bottoms on, but then over it's one of those like fabric things that like ties around the waist.
Yep,
where it's
absolutely.
like this is just
This is for
to
being
wear it
at the beach.
Yes.
I think for Integrity, she is wearing the swimsuit that is assigned by the school, like the ones that you can buy from the store. But she is wearing running clothes on top of it because I would think that this early in the morning she might have gone for a run.
Of course.
It's just like it's like a workout day. It's not a sleep-in day for her. So she went for a run prior to coming for the swimming.
So you're wearing like
classes.
your one piece with like a jacket over top.
Tracksuit.
Yeah. Winslow Wallaby.
Winslow's decked out with like the box standard Wildcliff grade swim
Hell
clothes
yeah.
because I don't think he owns any.
Yeah. some.
I don't know if he's ever
red
really gone
dude.
swimming before.
Canonically, Windsor's gone only mud swimming. This was established in the last episode.
Yeah, so he's got like the cap on, he's got the
Yes.
goggles on.
The goggles, these little glass goggles with like a rope strap. They're enchanted and they're like suctioned to your eyes. It makes, even though Windsor normally wears glasses, they blow up his eyes to look massive. He looks very froggy, standing here, waiting in the morning. Also in this room are two shivering, very, they look like first years. They just have that awkward kind of stance to them as if they don't belong anywhere and they're kind of out of place. You know the look. One of them is a tabaxi. They have a white fur. He's wearing swimming trunks and just looks like altogether horrific. He's glaring at the water in front of him, and he
Like
like
cat
is-
on the swim team.
and he's just like looks resentful of being here. He has these like black markings around his eyes, almost like the little raccoon bandit mask, and he just is like holding a swim cap and goggles with like a hunched, very not very excited posture. The other person here is a very short human girl. She has like purple hair that's like done into like braids, and she is also standing here shivering a little bit in the cold morning air, and she every couple of seconds is like like sneezing, almost like allergies or something, and she also looks regretful that she arrived this early in the morning. Standing a box of like swim caps and goggles on the ground. She puts her hands on her hips. Lucia looks at all of you. Around her neck, you can see a wonderful, very brand new looking whistle, and she will pull it to her mouth and whistle it twice. It's horrifically loud in this enclosed room. She'll look around. She'll stop and look at you, Mira, and say, "Are you gonna swim in that? How are you?"
Oh, I'm not. I'm just here for moral support.
Okay, come stand next to me so that.
Okay.
Like, okay. We can be like.
Wait,
the
that was an
coaches.
option?
Oh, yes, okay.
Oh no.
She's like, there's an extra whistle. Do you want that?
Yes.
And she points over to like her backpack.
Scurries
sitting on,
over
like-
to grab
yeah,
it.
you grab it, put that beautiful little silver whistle around your neck and can hurry back. The two of you stand there. Lucille will go, okay, welcome everyone to the... Thank you. Welcome everyone to the Swim Club inaugural meeting of the semester. I am your swim captain, Lucia. You might be wondering why there are no upperclassmen. They all quit or graduated, making me the leader of this club. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Let's go down the line. Ice and Summer. She points at the tabaxi and goes, thank you for being here. I will make sure you get what you were promised. She will then point at the short human and go, Echo. This is Echo. She's a first year, wonderful advanced student. She just showed up yesterday morning. Well, everyone say hello to Echo.
Hello.
Hi, Echo.
Hi, Echo. Welcome.
She looks around very nervously. It does not appear to be enjoying being the center of attention. She mumbles something under her breath and then sneezes heavily. She goes, okay, moving down the line. We all know Winsler. We all know
Howdy.
Serenup. We all know Integrity. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's great to have such a big swim crew. Okay, so the schedule is we're going to be arriving here every single morning, 5 a.m., 5 days a week. You get Saturday, Sunday, not off. We're going to have this long sessions on those days because you have less of a course load. Does that sound great, everyone? Awesome. She looks at you, Mira, and does like a head nod for like...
You heard her.
Yeah.
Does that sound awesome?
That's so much
Exactly.
time.
So much time. Well, two of you were coerced, and the rest of you owe me a favor. So that's the way it's going to be.
I look over to the other two and look at us and I'm like, wait, which one of us got coerced and which one of us owes favors? What?
The tabaxi kind of whispers to you as you look around. Sarah, he goes, she promised that she'd give me like a magical cloak, but I don't think that's true.
Oh, I'm so
Lucia,
sorry.
hands on her
We'll be
hips.
dragged into this.
Say it, like blows the whistle. She goes, enough talking. I didn't say it was okay for you guys to talk, okay?
What a power trip.
So this inaugural swim session, we're going to go over the different strokes. We're going to go over some drills. We're going to go over the schedule again, and then we're going to get in the water, get warmed up, get swimming. Okay? That sounds great. Who here is...
Alicia,
Yes.
how long is the swimming?
Like 90 minutes.
90 minutes?
Wait, does that include us learning about the stuff?
Today, yes.
Okay.
The rest of the days, no. It's straight to swimming and warming up. Anyways, and she claps her hands together. She jumps into like a whole explanation. She pulls out a chalkboard, is drawing things, talking to you guys.
Where'd she get a
spends like
blackboard from?
45 minutes explaining the different strokes, different drills, how to breathe, these kind of things. Walks you through how many people have swam, no one, like Serenep, Integrity, you put your hands up, I suppose, I guess. The other human girl, Echo, puts her hand up. The Tabaxi and Winsler do not put their hands up, and she strokes her chin and looks sagely, and then will look to you, Mira, and say, like, can you watch them so they don't drown? But we're just gonna put them in.
Here. You guys got this. Tweet, and I'm gonna try to give these NPCs D10 of bardic inspiration.
Yes,
Inspiration to swim.
The whistle tweets go off. She gets everyone in the water. People start doing their drills. Everyone can make an athletics check. And since Mira is so kind to give out bardic inspiration to presumably everyone, you could.
Yes.
Yeah. So many tweets, so many loud tweets. 45 minutes of straight swimming under the correctional eye of a not professional, but Lucia, who has swam for a couple of years at least. Athletics checks. What's everyone got?
Pure comedy.
I got 16.
Oh, shit.
16. Is that with a plus 10 or plus 1 d10?
22.
I mean, it's just
16.
pure comedy if I don't add D10. It's absolutely pure comedy.
Okay.
I got a natural 1.
Oh my gosh.
Windsor
I got
drowns.
23 with a
Okay.
bardic inspiration.
Okay. Integrity, Serenep, you've swam a couple of times before, or at least once. By the things, Integrity, you grew up on a river, or on a lake. You swam a bunch. You take to the water, the two of you, with corrections, heavy corrections from Lucia, blowing her whistle and yelling things from the pool deck. You could take to it fairly simply. 45 minutes of swimming is exhausting, and the two of you are panting and just overwhelmed, tunnel vision, almost blacking out by the end of it. 12 minutes into the swim, Mira Marchand, you are personally standing by like one of the right lane here as the Tabaxi and Winsler are sharing this one and swimming. You see the Tabaxi, water just dragging him down to the bottom as he gets completely soaked. Winsler just flailing and flopping every couple of seconds, looking as if he's about to drop to the bottom and start drowning. Even at the shallow end of this pool, he can't stay. He has to hold on to the edge and hope not to slip off. Mira, 12 minutes in, you do see Winsler plunge beneath the surface, and you watch for a couple of seconds, and you in your head, the alarm bells immediately go off.
Yeah,
drowning right now.
Don't worry. I have a backup plan for this.
Mira, you could run to the edge of the pool.
I'm like preparing to cast Bigby's hand. Like I haven't done it yet, but I'm like starting to play the notes.
Of course. Winsler Wallaby, you are drowning. You are sucked beneath the water. Your second death is coming shortly. What would you like to do?
I'm going to cast Alter Self.
Oh!
And I'm going to
Octopus.
select the option of aquatic adaptation.
You webbed feet
Oh my
and fingers. Perfect.
Yep. Gills, growing webbing, and I can breathe underwater and gain a swimming speed equal to my walking speed.
Perfect. Mira Marchand, you run to the edge, preparing to cast cast a giant hand into the water and grab your friend, and you see him sprout little gills and webbed little feet, and he just starts swimming around like a creepy little frog on the bottom of the pool.
Hey, that's not fair. That's cheating.
Not with any skill, however, mind you, but he is swimming.
Nobody said that magic wasn't allowed.
Lucia stands at the other
That's
side of the
true.
deck, furrowing her. She like puts her hands on her forehead and goes, this is going worse than I was expecting.
How's that gonna do?
Lucia, do we even compete in this club? Like, do we compete with other schools?
We're going to talk about that in a couple weeks, okay? Let's just get the basics started out right now.
Hey, Winsler, let's race.
All right, let's race.
I want to see if I'm faster than an aquatic thing.
Integrity Adaptability with your 23. Winsler, you can go ahead and re-roll. We'll see. Your athletics check, see if it matches up even with your swim speed.
That was a 4.
A 4.
At least you can breathe underwater now.
He plods and paddles, dragging himself through the water.
I may be able to breathe underwater, but I'm
Yeah,
still not a good swimmer.
Still not athletic. Integrity, you can easily crush this little gnome in a 50-meter race. Easy peasy. You reach to the end side of the pool. You kind of like come out, catching your breath. You look out into the hallway through the like kind of glass wall that's here, dividing it. Everyone is kind of doing their thing behind you. You're catching your breath, getting rid of that tunnel vision, kind of heart pumping. You, Integrity Adderberry, see a little sight which flies down the stairs. It's almost a coincidental timing. It kind of flies down the stairs, lands on its little stubby legs, and kind of runs on 4 legs up to the window. This little ashy-looking winged squirrel-sized clay beast. It kind of plops its two hands on the window and like pushes its face, and seems the homunculus you see, Integrity Idleberry, seems to be searching for you, looking for you. Its little eyes darting around, and then when it sees you, you make eye contact with it. You're kind of like looking up out of the pool, and it will like if its tiny little hand on the glass, and kind of be trying to get your attention.
Integrity is going to jump out of the pool.
Of course.
And I'm going to open up the window if it's openable.
Sidebar, Integrity
Yes.
Idleberry. Since you are now no longer wearing your cool tracksuit, is there anything else with your appearance that you'd like to describe? That people might notice now that you're wearing the kind of like, typical one-piece swimming suit with like the low-cut back, mayhaps?
I mean, my sick tat is
Could you
there.
describe, by chance, what people see to everyone, as this is the first time in like 100 episodes? Please.
It's like a black tattoo inky inscriptions in the back that covers like the entire back, basically.
So from Integrity's like lower back up to her like upper back, there's like vertical text in black ink. And there's also, no one else would probably pay attention to it. It's probably a sick piece of art, but Integrity Idleberry's friends, which is to say Mira, Serenupth, and Winsler, this might be the first time you've ever seen this. And the imagery depicted therein upon her back might strike you, as there's 4 small circles of color, which are kind of like in the center of her back, kind of arranged in like a northeast-southwest kind of compass of a purple circle, a blue circle, a green circle, and then a yellow circle. And then as you watch, like the text almost like shifts, almost like it's ink on water, to something else. Nonetheless, you all see this. You can take note of Integrity's cool back tattoo. Integrity, you can rush over, open the door into the hallway. The homunculus will like rush over to you and jump upon, flap two little flaps of the wings, land upon your shoulder, and then you see it like with its hands and like point up the stairs. It will then leap off your shoulder and begin flying, not super quickly, but flying up away from you, leading you upwards.
Lucia, if I promise to swim after classes, may I leave early?
She looks around at the rest of the people, exhausted, some of them almost drowning, and she goes, yeah, sure, actually, this is like, I'm not a coach, so this is already too many people probably for me to handle. So yeah, absolutely, you just come by later. Yeah, we can swim later. I swim in this afternoon too. Anyways, just close the door so that like the humidity doesn't get out. And she yells at you as you like rush out into the hallway, close the door behind you. Integrity, would you like to follow your homunculus?
Yes, please.
By all means. You rush up the stairs, the like 5 floors to the top of the zoology department, up to like the surface of the campus. You catch your breath, and your homunculus pulls you forward. It lands on your shoulder again, like pulls your hair and points over across like the road or the campus path. You see there's the divination building, a squat kind of 2-story structure with only a couple of classrooms. There's a courtroom or a courtyard beside it with a couple of benches. You see there's a tree there. Gathered are probably 30, maybe 40 little blackbirds, ravens, and the like. They are all standing silent, almost as if they're trying not to make any sounds or be seen by anyone. But they are all gathered around someone who seems to be sitting on a park, or not a park bench, but one of these benches beside the divination department. The homunculus pulls on your hair and points at that elf in particular. They are kind of not, I wouldn't say you're familiar with them as a person, but you've definitely, Integrity, seen them around campus before now. They used to be, you would know this notably, they used to be involved with the event planning committee, Integrity Idleberry. They have kind of like they have these long elven ears with a bunch of piercings in them. They have like a rolled up flannel shirt on, and so they're like, and it's kind of like unbuttoned a couple of times. They have like suspenders and some regular old like bulky pants on, sitting cross-legged on the bench. Their hair is like pushed back. It's like this short, at this time pastel blue kind of colored hair, and they seem to have like just a small book out in front of them that they are doodling or drawing in with like an ink pen. You would recognize this person, this elf, Integrity Atterbury, as Bowen Blueblight.
Bowen!
Oh.
And the homunculus pulls on your hair and points over it, utters like a weird little squeak, and then it will fly from your shoulder and go and fly over and land next to them on the bench and kind of sit almost gargoyle-like for a moment and just park next to them. Almost like a dog at the airport who's like, there's drugs in this fucking suitcase. Sits next to them.
I'm just like going to walk up and I'm going to put my hand like on the tree by them.
When you do so, a bird looks down at you and goes, "Aye." And then another one looks down and goes, "Bee, bee." But you can lean on this tree. Bowen looks up from their book with a kind of knowing expression, Integrity.
Knowing. Fancy seeing you here this early in the morning.
They stifle a giggle. They'll close the book for a moment and they'll look up at you. You know, I had a vision a couple weeks ago, and I didn't really make sense at the time, but it was you and some birds and I didn't know what that was, but it was following me around all morning, and, you know, I figured that was telling that it was going to be coming. So, yeah, funny running into you here.
Do you have any questions? Why I'm here?
Yeah, I do. Why are you here? I told you I had a kind of mysterious vision, but I didn't by any means have it explained to me or explained why you would be coming to look at me. They get kind of quiet and they say, "This isn't about Bailey or anything, is it?"
Oh,
you're not coming to like question me about that? Because
no.
I didn't know anything about what was going on, I swear.
I don't have any questions about Bailey. This is all about you. I just wanted to see if perhaps things have been difficult or things have been great for you, and if you ever decided to be, if you ever tried to seek some help from
a higher power,
a stranger, and wanted to swear your life to them or something of that sort.
Could you make a persuasion check for me, Integrity Atterbury?
Persuasion. That's an 8.
An 8. Bowen kind of like looks away from you for a second and goes, well, if I had, I don't think it would really mean anything to you, would it? Like, it's kind of personal. That's a really personal question.
I totally understand. Sorry for being so forward about this. I'm trying to form a club of perhaps people that share this same history.
They squint at
you. It's a club
a little bit, and they'll kind of like gesture for you to come in a little bit when you say share this history, and kind of like gesture like, come here, come closer.
Okay. Oh, okay.
You lean in. And they'll say, "Do you know Kirad too?"
Do I know who?
Kirad.
I do not know who Kirad is. Is Kirad a student?
Yeah, they are. I think they're like a new first year or something like that.
Okay, how do you spell this, Kirad?
Khirad, but you didn't hear it from me.
Khirad? Well, thank you so much for letting me know about this. Well, if you ever need to speak with me, if you ever feel worried about your safety, if you feel like you're at like the end of your life and need my help, I'm right here for you.
They kind of scratch at their eyebrows and they look at you like a person who's just been told something crazy, and they'll say, "I appreciate that sentiment, but I don't think it'll come to that. I think I have folks looking out for me in high places, so I should be fine."
I'm going to kneel down or like crouch down, and I'm going to look at them straight in the face. And I'm going to say, "It all starts that way. But just so you know, people with our shared history, a lot of them die."
They kind of like recoil from you. So Integrity, when you lean down and like get in their face, they kind of like look around at anyone like, oh, is there a person I can say, "Oh, I was waiting for them"? That kind of expression from them, and they will look back to you when you say they die, and They'll think for a moment. They'll look at you and say, if it comes to that, I'll let you know.
Good. And if you ever find other people with the same history as the two of us...
I'm not going to go looking just before. I'm sorry. I don't want to pry into people's personal business like that. They're like, do you know by chance how to get the... And they reference, like, look up at the birds. Get them to stop following me?
Definitely not. No. They follow me everywhere.
Okay. They'll kind of, like, scoot away from you, stand up, grab their, like, knapsack, hurriedly push their book inside of it, and will say, this was a strange conversation, and I should have seen that coming because of, seeing it coming. I have to go to class in a couple hours, but I'm going to leave now. I'll talk to you if it ever comes to that. Have a good day. And they will hurriedly, Integrity Atterbury, rush away.
You can also talk to me before it.
Rush away from you.
It doesn't have to get there, please.
You hear a bird from up on the branches go, I. And
Let me help you.
And as Integrity stands here on campus yelling, let me help you. We will leave her there.
Incredible.
We'll pick up a couple weeks later. This is another one where all the four of you are gathered together. Not for anything auspicious or anything untoward. It's just because the four of you are scheduled to do work tonight together at the old chapel, in that old room looking at
right.
eggs. You've all been scheduled to do egg work this evening. It's probably like a Sunday evening. You would probably rather be relaxing. It's like 8 p.m. The general mood is, I don't know. How are you guys enjoying? It's probably been at this point like 6 weeks. So you're into presumably the summer at this point. Nothing crazy has happened. Philip has been on campus and he's staring up them acting just the same as he was that night, kind of like all the time, always trying to weasel out of conversations. What other things are happening? Mira Marchand, your print business has probably published its first paper with like 3 columns in it.
Oh yeah, there's like notes on the swim club, like if there have been exam rankings, it's like guess who got first. Lots of things like that. But obviously behind the scenes, I like to imagine like we've been trying to recruit as many people as possible who we think might be. I don't know who we would have been able to get, but we're sort of
imagining
movers and
Mira Marchand that you would be handling like the kind of getting everything written, doing the investigative journalism. Syndra is doing the behind the scenes logistics, has gotten you guys set up with someone to print things, a student who has like the capabilities to do so in their private room, and then like
gotta look legitimate at first before you start.
Of course. And she's been trying to like present to you people, like slowly introducing you to folks and being like, "Hey, this person." What
There's
do you
a
think
montage of like people coming to Syndra's dorm, and like we're both sitting there, and then like they do a little interview, and we look at each other, and we either nod or shake our heads.
Of course, but you've published your first issue. Went flawless with the problems that come up with creation, but went flawlessly. Besides that, it has not been really bogged down by administration or flagged or anything, so flying under the radar still. Serenap, we already covered the Phillips things. I presume you're trying to recover a relationship with him there. Integrity or Winsler, what have you two been feeling in these ensuing past couple of weeks of peace and quiet?
Professor Very Periwinkle's assets have likely been either liquidated or
yes, just a nice flow of currency into your pocket for use in whatever.
I mean, it'll have a use. We need it to help do like the research on like severing the bond.
Of course,
it's going into important research for that whenever we have time to do it.
Can we assume that's like Integrity and Winsler's like off-time project is when they're not working with Kurt to produce the magic items Integrity requested, they're also hardcore studying in the archives, spending lots of cash on trying to uncover the secrets to pact breaking.
Yes.
For sure.
Okay. Nonetheless, it is a Sunday evening, 8 p.m. You'd all presumably much rather be elsewhere than right here, right now. You find yourselves on the front steps of the old chapel on a nice, warm summer evening, a nice, gentle breeze blows in from the east. The sun is setting shortly. You can all press in to the old chapel. The moment you do so, you enter this like old, dusty kind of place of worship. You feel a incredible heat in this place, almost like as if someone had turned up the thermostat and forgot to turn it off, as it were. Which like almost immediately walking in, it might like cause you to start sweating. It's that warm. It seems, you can all ascertain, to be emanating from upstairs where offices ought to be.
This sucks.
I mean, it's not so bad. We've been holding on for like a little bit. I think it's kind of interesting.
Shall we?
Sure.
I have nothing better to do.
You all proceed to walk over to the right side, taking your time, kicking your feet, trying to make it go slower than it is. Make your way over to the right side of this old chapel, to the staircase going upstairs. You can slowly clunk, 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 walk up these stairs. You feel that heat growing warmer and warmer and warmer, ever more obvious and more present. It's quite strange as you make your way upstairs. When you reach
This almost feels like we're in Lim.
It does almost. It evokes feelings of being in Lem, the constant sweating and heat. You walk up the stairs, making your way towards the office of your co-mentored students, where all those eggs are nicely stored. There's a nice research log ready to get work done. You see that the door to that office, when you do walk up to the top of the stairs, the door to that office is cracked open quite wide, and you can feel an intense heat coming from in there. It is, to be clear, quite irregular to have such a thing occurring right at this kind of thing is odd, one might say. The four of you can continue forwards, maybe starting to think, what's going on here? Puzzled, and can look in onto the research station, as it were. There's like a central work table, and then there's also like desks around the perimeter of the room. On the far side of the room, you would know there's bookshelves there that lead behind them to the wonderful, ever-loved Crow Loft.
Mm-hmm.
A couple things are quite obvious to you when you walk in. On this central workbench, there's a small steel apparatus that looks not unlike a pizza oven. This is where the eggs, the aforementioned research eggs, are kept. You can see that it's like an incubator. You can see that the hatch to it, the door, is completely swung open and wide open. The heat leaking out everywhere. Eggs inside, cooling rapidly. Next, there is ink on like every surface in this room. Almost like someone it's almost like finger painting on the walls, on the desks, on the floor. You see there's a massive research logbook right next to this incubator. You guys have all been working in here. You come in, weigh a couple eggs, write your name in the logbook, sign off, leave. That's the job. You see that it is like the pages are like stained, almost like dripping wet still with ink. Like someone drew on them, or like when you first walk in, you can't really make out anything. But ink covering like all surfaces in this room, like finger painting. The third thing is that the bookshelf that leads to that crow loft has been moved ever so slightly. It is open far enough that someone could probably push into it or like squeeze through, but not like a super wide open area.
Everyone,
What is this mess?
we all still have our tattoos, right? Like I try and like look over my shoulder to see if my fox tattoo is still there.
Yes, it does not seem to be tattoo full moon related.
Hell yeah.
Okay, well, that's one option down.
I'm gonna pick up the logbook, and since it's still covered with like wet ink, I'm gonna see if I
Yes.
can press the digitation and clean the ink off.
And okay, Winsler, you pick up this logbook. It probably weighs the same amount as you, and you like and huffed it into your hands. You press the digitation, and the pages like flutter as if you just like blown wind over it. Ink splatters across everything. You see a bunch of it shoot into like the little incubator, land on the eggs in there. You hear like a sizzle as it like immediately begins like steaming and cooking. You all get ink splattered upon your faces, which for a moment is quite unpleasant. And then you also see it like splatters onto the ceiling, the floor, the walls. But it is among good company, as those are already all marked up with ink. Winslow, you can salvage what remains of the logbook. There is some dried ink in it that covers some older stuff, but the fresher ink you seem to have ejected As you take a little peekaroonie down at it in your hands, or maybe as you like, and heft it back up onto the workbench, you can take a peek at the person who was last here, the person who last signed off, and you can see that it was Ira Alaro, and it was last night.
Last night.
And there was probably like 3 measurements. There's probably like 16 eggs in there you need to measure the weight of. There was 3 measurements done, and then it was just done. Nothing else, blank.
So the last person who was in here was Ira, and they only did 3 weighs, but there's 16 eggs.
I know that Ira's messy, but I don't think that Ira did all of this.
I don't think Ira likes to play with ink.
Do you think something
First of all.
happened to her? Because the last time Ira, like, mysteriously went missing to deal with something we were doing, it was a whole thing.
Yeah. Did we see Ira today? Like, did anyone see her?
Probably not, but that's not strange. You're not in like the same departments or anything.
Do you guys want me to try and find her?
I suppose it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah.
I feel like she went that way, but...
You point to
Yeah.
And I point at the
Mhm.
shelves.
yeah, Mira, did you want to?
Yeah, I would like to confirm this. I would like
Okay.
to cast Locate Creature, please.
Of course. As Mira does this, she pulls out her lyre and like do-do-do-do-ding, plays a little ditty. The radar
The pings
ping
and-
goes out. Yeah.
Yeah. But only the ones come back in, like, the
Yes.
direction where Ira is, I
Correct.
presume.
Yeah. There's a ping from probably 60 feet on the other side of that bookshelf down that tunnel. Ira Laro pings right back. Did any of you, as Mira does this, want to take a peekaroonie at like the ink on the, or like the scribbles, as it were? Some of
Yeah.
it seems to just be like swirls and spirals, but other stuff seems to be almost text, almost images.
If there's
you get close to
writing,
it.
sure, we'll
Oh.
take a look at it.
Yeah. So, Mira Marchand, you play this note, you get a ping back, you realize Ira's down that hallway. You can tell people about this.
Okay, I don't know if we want to bother her, but just in case we want to check, and I will point my finger in that direction and go, right down there.
I mean, maybe,
She kind of doesn't like me, so maybe you guys should lead, but like...
maybe all this writing on the wall will kind of give us an indication of what's really going on here, maybe?
Because it sounds like Winslow's going to be investigating.
Mhm.
Could I check on the eggs, like,
Oh, by all means.
because like that is our project, like to clean them
Yeah,
off, like.
Sure. Make a
Yeah.
nature check for me. And Winsler, you can make an investigation check for me as you investigate the scribbles. Integrity, would you like to do? Are you going to head forwards into the darkness?
Take that in.
I will, just because like I want to do a wellness check on Ira.
Okay.
Everyone's doing their thing right now, and I just want to make
Okay.
sure that
By all means.
she's okay.
Mira points you in the right direction, makes a joke about maybe someone else should do it. And you can squeeze through those bookshelves into the dark tunnel. The scent of animal hits you from the crow loft above, and you can squint and barely make out, like, down the tunnel, like the form of a person who's like lying on their side, just on the ground. And you can slowly approach what Mira has confirmed for you to be Ira Alaro, slowly. Serenum Syndrome, nature check.
I got a 19.
By all means, you can spend the next like couple minutes as everyone else is like investigating, finding Ira, doing these things to like check the eggs, weigh them, make sure they're fine, put them back in, get them wiped off, close the little incubator back down, and like sign or just like do the logbook as required, doing like an hour's worth of work in probably like the next 5 minutes. Winslow Wallaby, investigation.
Non-natural 20.
Non-natural 20.
Nice.
Ooh, Winslow Wallaby. There is a wealth of shit here. There is drawing a lot of trees drawn on the walls, like very crudely in ink. It almost looks, and you can see very easily, there's like a couple of smashed bottles of ink like underneath one of the desks. It looks like they were uncorked, and she just with like 2 fingers someone started, presumably Ira, drawing on these walls. You see stuff like pictograms of trees, pictograms of vines reaching a bunch of suns, and they're like in the way that a crayon drawing sun looks, where it's like almost like a little swirly sun with like the little radial triangles coming off of it. There is a couple of pieces of writing. Some of it, Winslow Wallaby, immediately evokes like a familiarity for you.
Oh.
It's not anything, and this is just like scattered words. You see stuff, you see the expression or the little line, magic's most basal, scattered around, which Winslow Wallaby you had read a couple weeks ago when you had picked up that Druidcraft page from the archives.
Magic most basil?
Basal, B-A-S-A-L. Like
Oh.
at the base, not basil.
Basil like the herb.
No. That is written around and is very immediately evokes like that connection for you. The other thing that is written here on the walls, on tables, on the floor, probably upwards of 20 times, which, you know, it might bear looking at in that case, is the...
Ira was here.
Yeah, Ira Lara was here.
Yeah, she's very on the
Winslow
nose
Wallaby.
with
It doesn't say Ira Lara was here,
Is this
but it says
related to, like, is
in a script, "Come along, Ira. It was made for you, Ira." That kind of little 2 sentences is repeated probably 19 times, scrawled on different surfaces in here.
Is it the trees?
I think we may have a bit of a situation on our hands. I don't think this is good.
What's going on?
There's a lot of scribbling and sort of cryptic wording. But I think the most important takeaway from this is there's writing that says, "Come along, Ira. It was made for you, Ira." I think something is very wrong here.
That
should-
does sound unsituationally good. Maybe we should check in.
Yeah, I'm gonna go towards where Integrity has gone off.
You walk to the doorway and can peek through. Integrity Iberry, you are walking, I assume cautiously, up towards Ira.
Yes,
Okay.
for sure.
Are you saying anything? You can see her form. She's like lying on the floor on her like side, almost like a person who, it looks like a person who like was walking and then fell onto the ground or like maybe hit their head. Does that make sense? Like she's
Okay.
lying there,
Okay.
not really moving. Do you say anything as you approach this heap of an elf?
Are they breathing at least?
You
Can I see?
stop for a
that
second and
movement?
listen, and you can hear like a like a ragged breath.
Ira, I'm so sorry to intrude. I don't know if you intend to be here or to hide in here. It was just like a mess back in their room. Are you okay? Me and our friends are here. We're just here trying to check on you. Are you doing all right?
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. Persuasion. That's a 17.
You hear a low kind of like a groan, like someone that is in pain, and she will say, "Integrity, is that you?" Oh, my
yes.
head. Oh,
It's your head? Like, is it painful? Did you hit yourself? And I'm going to walk faster with more urgency.
absolutely. You can walk. You can like run to her now, the like 60 feet or like probably like 15 feet forwards to where she is. Sarah, you stand at like the entryway. You can probably pull the bookshelf a bit further to the side. The three of you can kind of like peek in, and the light pours out into the hall, into this dark tunnel at this point, far enough that you can all see in like the dim shadow, like Ira Alara like lying there. As Integrity runs to her and kind of like takes a knee and like begins to like look over. She like almost stirs. She has her eyes completely shut, Integrity, and she like looks up at you from where she was like lying face down on the stone. You can see that there's like big gash on her forehead, and then like blood that's run down like the right side of her face. And there's also like a puddle of it where she was like lying on the ground, and she'll like squint at you through like her eyes and say like, "My head, it's killing me. Oh my god, what happened?"
You don't remember anything that happened to you?
She kind of starts to sit up and will, I presume you like offer her a hand to like help her and steady her, Integrity, and she'll continue that ragged breathing, and she'll say, "I came yesterday night to check on, I was scheduled to do the research log, and I don't know, my head, it's killing me. I don't remember anything."
Okay, let's get you back. Let's get you back to where everyone is. And I'm going to sort of like get her to keep on walking
Yeah.
back if she is able to, but
Yeah.
I'm just going to like serve as
Like
someone to like hold on
leaning
to.
on her. Yeah. Letting
Yeah.
her lean on you,
Yeah.
which she definitely takes use of. Like, you can put like one of her arms over your shoulder, and the two of you she kind of like limps forwards. The three of you, Winsler, Mira, Serenep, you can see her kind of like coming towards you. Her eyes are pointed at the ground in a way that's like noticeably avoiding looking at any of you. And you can kind of like clear out from the entryway. As Integrity, you can walk her back into the office. There's a couple of like chairs. You can pull one out from underneath the desk and like let her sit down. And she continues to like, when she enters into this room, she just closes her eyes. You all notice that. And she sits on this chair, eyes closed. The gash on her forehead looks not horrible, just like it bled quite a bit. It's not like bleeding actively right now. It's just kind of dried onto her face.
Is everything okay? What happened?
I told Integrity. I don't remember. My head's killing me. I think I must have fallen and hit it or something like that. Eyes closed the entire time.
Maybe we should take her to the infirmary.
No,
And-
I don't need to go to the infirmary. I'm fine. I should probably just go back to my dorm and clean up and get some actual sleep.
If this has been bothering you for a while, I mean, do you want any help? I don't want to overreach, but, you know, it kind of tends to be us that does this sort of stuff, and it seems like something's been nagging at you for a bit.
Can you make a persuasion check for me, Mira?
Yeah, I can make a persuasion check.
Incoming 20,000.
Oh! Haha!
Did you get it?
I did! So that's a 33.
Okay, all right, all right. That might be the highest number we've
with
seen
a-
rolled so far.
It definitely is, I think, is the highest number ever. With a 33, she opens her eyes and like her expression that of like someone who's pained and being like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. I'll just go back to my room. Mira, you say, we can handle this. Tell us, has this been bothering you a long time? Her shoulders kind of slump and she looks down at the floor. Her eyes open for the first time and she goes, yeah, it has. I'm sorry that I lied.
It's okay.
It was like something took over my body and I was like a passenger just watching it happen.
Well, what did you see?
She just she gestures at like the ink all over everything. She goes, it just started drawing on everything, writing things, writing my name, and she points to the thing that you'd seen earlier, Winsler, like the come along, Ira. It was made for you, Ira. And then it was like when it was done with me, I was exhausted and I just collapsed.
Is this because of Isithel?
She kind of like shrinks a little bit in the chair and she goes, I mean, it's really, yeah, it's the same thing that happened. I didn't draw on things there, but yeah, it feels the same.
I think this might be related to something that I picked up a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna take out the slip of paper that was grown from the tree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pass it around and show everybody. And like,
Yeah.
the words magic most basil, that's also written here too. This is definitely Isithil related, I think.
I know the last time you were in Isithel, a lot happened. Did you talk to Dessa and them about what was happening?
She very quietly nods quickly.
Does she know anything about it? Like any insight, any inkling what it might be? I know that she's done research on Isithel for a long time, be it with animals, but she's friends with artists too, and
She said it might be a creature affecting me in some way, but that doesn't, I'm not there. I don't know why it can do this.
I'm
I don't
going
know
to
if something's
glance.
wrong with me.
Do you think you need to go? I mean, there was this whole thing, and I know we all had to sign that agreement about how we weren't going to, be doing any of that stuff, but you know, right? I mean, my mage hand signed it, so it's not even technically like, but seriously.
She does let out a very weak smile when you start making some jokes, Mira, but she like gulps and says, is that the smart thing to do?
Oh, not a good question to ask me. And Mira's just trying to make her laugh at this point.
Yeah.
Trying
Her
to lighten the
shoulders-
mood a little.
Her shoulders do slump a little when you do say that. Almost like she was looking to you as like a, tell me what to do, please, anyone.
while I agree with Mira that it is not the smartest thing to do for anyone of us to go to Isithel, I feel like that's the only direction, like, that we could go. If you've been hearing this since you've been to Isithil, and you say that there's this creature who's trying to speak with you, we can't deal with them from out here. At least I don't think so. And I look at my more magical friends.
Sereneth is going to kind of raise her hand to the side, like, what could it possibly be? The eggs? Like, she's gonna like try and pick up the logbook and like, what kind of eggs are we looking at? Like,
like dragon turtle eggs. They're from Isithil, yeah, but otherwise just a magical creature.
not known to cause this sort of mayhem.
Not known to psychically affect people in this manner. No.
Oh, okay.
Known
dang.
for growing very large and biting trees in half.
We
and biting
perform an
things very hard.
Oh, that's sick. Ah, yes.
She just kind of is slumped in the chair and will kind of, at this point finally like look up at you all, and her like she just has an exhaustion about her. Like her eyes are bloodshot, the big puffy bags underneath them, and she'll say, "I just feel apprehensive. Like what if it wants me for something, you know?"
Yeah.
I mean, there's another alternative, but I feel like it might put you in a little bit more danger. It's probably not a great idea, but we could just watch over you and like wait until it happens again, and we just make sure that you don't harm yourself in the process, and we try and get some information out of whatever this creature wants while it's in possession, I guess. It's risky, but this is an alternative instead of going to Isithil right away.
Yeah, Ira, the choice is yours, but at this point, this is kind of what we do, and we'll back you up no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know how you'll like watch me to make sure it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened since last year.
How often have you been surrounded by these eggs? Have you been going by yourself?
Once a week.
Once a week?
Yeah, and I've been fine.
So it's not that being surrounded by things from Isithil increases the chance of this connection or this like overpowering feeling like happen, right? Like it's at random.
That's what it feels like to me. It happened. It happened before we went to Isithil last time, and then before that, it happened just on a random night when we were in campus, when I was still like in a cast and stuff, and I scribbled a bunch of things in like my dorm bathroom, and then it happened when we were in Isithil. That's it, 4 times. But I'm not gonna go to the infirmary about this because I don't want to get, I don't know, take a potion because you're crazy. If it's fine with the 4 of you, I kind of just want to go back to my dorm and get some sleep.
All right, if you're sure.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Look, we believe you, and if you do want to seek out whatever is causing this, and you need backup, we will back you up, okay?
She like looks into your eyes, Mira. She looks exhausted, and she will like nod and will say, "Well, if I go looking for it, I'll make sure to let you guys know." And she'll
that's more than enough for us. We just want to help out.
she'll quietly like push or very slowly push on the arms of the chair and like stand. She'll look around as if looking for like her belongings or something and doesn't seem to find anything, and just sigh and begin to like very slowly limp out and away. Pushes the door open, makes her way. You can hear her creak, creak, creak down the stairs.
All right. Just as a little bit of a safety measure, I think I'm gonna have something keep watch over her whenever possible anyways, without her knowing, just so that in the event that something does happen, it can come and alert us so that we can go find her and make sure that she'll be okay. Does that sound all right?
Oh,
A little unethical, but let's go for it.
I mean,
I'm
No,
just
I love
excited
it.
to
Let's
see
do
what
it.
This is gonna end up being. Yes.
this wouldn't be the
What
first
are you
time
gonna
I've done
animate
something a
this
little
time?
unethical, but it's for
God.
Hell yeah, high
it's
five!
making sure that they're gonna be okay in the end.
Guys, stop high-fiving for unethicalness.
What would you like to do?
Is there some sort of item in this room that could probably be like inconspicuous if it's seen somewhere?
There's like quills and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that inconspicuous enough? There's chairs.
A
What
quill would
work
be
conspicuous?
a quill is
quill's-
most likely the
a
best
quill's
thing.
good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to cast Tiny Servant.
Okay. What by chance does Tiny Servant do?
You touch one tiny non-magical object that isn't attached, or another object or a surface that isn't being carried by another creature. Target animates and sprouts little arms and legs, becoming a creature under your control until the spell ends or the creature drops to 0 hit points. As a bonus action, you can mentally command the creature if it is within 120 feet of you. You decide what action the creature will take and where it will move.
How long does the spell last?
8 hours.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So you're just going to do this like every single day.
I'm gonna do this like every
Okay.
single day, just to make sure that,
Okay.
you know.
Perfect. You animate this little quill. Little elegant legs sprout out of it. The little swan feather blows in the wind, and it looks up at you for an order. You instruct it, go follow her, and it like very elegantly walks, almost like it's gliding across the ground away from you, pushing out through the door and down the stairs on its grand quest.
Well, there, now, hopefully she won't be lying around in a bleeding near half to death for like a day.
Okay, that's good at least. I finished the report, so I look around the absolutely kind of destroyed room
Yes.
covered in ink. I'm like, we should probably clean this up so that the next people who come in to check on the eggs doesn't see this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think we should be exempted from schoolwork. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, the school should just pay us for, like, okay, I guess all Algrim does do that for me, but I feel like we should just be hired at this point as, like, protectors. Mira's, like, saying this as she's, like, grabbing the mop and,
Yeah,
like, complaining.
Of course.
Yeah.
You guys like head
I
out to
wouldn't-
the hallway, grab from like the supply cupboard, start like ragging and mopping stuff up, complaining.
I wouldn't mind getting paid. Like, if we're gonna do it anyway, might as well get paid, right?
Right,
And,
like, we
like-
gotta get some of that crow money on, like, you know,
Exactly.
helping the whole
And-
school.
And Kurt totally like tricked me into paying him a lot of money for
It
stuff.
takes a lot of money and
bullshit.
time to make things.
Well, I know, Winsler, but you have to say that because you're part of the business scheme.
He's scamming you.
What do
You
you
are
mean,
getting
a
scammed,
scheme?
Integrity.
I can't believe
gotta
Winter's on the
hustle him back.
inside of it.
1,200 gold coins. I believe it.
Integrity talks about how horrible it is to spend her filthy rich amount of money, more money than Winsler's parents will ever see in their lifetimes. The four of you, it takes 5 minutes for Serenup to do the research work, and it takes the rest of you probably 90 minutes to finish cleaning this room until a point that it is like serviceable to pass on to the next person, that they won't be like, what the fuck dark ritual happened here? After which time you can return inky, gross cleaning supplies to their cupboard, tired, ready for sleep, not really excited for the next week of your classes to get started sooner than you'd like. You can all beleagueredly make your way down the stairs to the head out of the old chapel.
See you guys at swim practice tomorrow.
Whoa.
Oh, that's at like 6 a.m., isn't it?
5 a.m.
5 a.m.
5 a.m.
You've been going
As
every day.
Descend to the bottom of the stairs. There's a stillness in the air in this chapel, in this room. The warmth has faded after you fixed the incubator, so it's nice and cool in here in this stone temple of a sort, this chapel. Sitting in the front pew, as you all joke around about swim practice, is a woman who has her legs crossed. She has a staff leaning against the pew next to her, and is kind of like hands folded in her lap, staring over at the stairway from which you are all walking down out of, with a very expectant expression upon her face. A woman you've not seen in likely 6 or so, 7, probably more weeks. Purposefully have been avoided by, I think is the best way to put it. She has dark brown hair, straight cut bangs. Her hair is pulled back in a violent bun. She is wearing like a high-necked shirt with a very long skirt adjoining it. She has a lot of jewelry decorating her wrists and arms, and she is sitting there looking very statuesque. You see Karina Lindman,
Oh, God.
the one and only, sitting there. And as the four of you walk down the stairs, she will clear her throat and kind of laugh in the same breath, and she goes, "Finally, you're all finished. I've been waiting for an hour."
Sorry, there was a mess.
I've been waiting longer than an hour. I've been waiting weeks and weeks. But I didn't want to talk to you all until I was ready to talk to you all.
Okay, what's up?
She looks up at the peaked ceiling in the chapel, almost like thinking over, chewing on the words before she says them. And then she shoots like a very hard glare over at the group of you, lingering heavily on you, Serenepth, and then eyes flitting over to you, Mira, and will say, with a very fake-looking smile, I just wanted to offer an invitation. A couple weeks' time, you have enough time to think over what you want to talk about with me. But I wanted to extend an invitation for, let's say, maybe the 43rd day of summer. I don't know if that's significant to any of you, but I'm sure you'll be happy to know that it is my wonderful sister's birthday. So we could have, and she kind of like, her nose is like twitching in a way that's like she's very much pushing the anger down, and she says, we can have a talk about what's been going on there. I would love, Mira, if you could bring her.
That might be difficult, but
I don't care if it's difficult.
Do you want to see her? I can just take you to her.
You think I haven't gone and seen her already?
Well,
you think
if you've
I've
tried
waited around weeks and weeks and weeks and not... I found her. I found her the moment I got back to campus. I found her the moment that she was abandoned in your dorm room. And she puts a hand up and like almost to like compose herself. Puts a hand on her neck. Takes a breath and she'll say, I would like you to bring her. And that isn't not me saying it would be nice. That is me issuing a command to bring her with you.
Karina, if you've tried to pick her up, and I'm sure you have, you'll know why that's a problem. But I'm happy to talk with you about this.
We will talk on the 43rd day of summer.
Okay.
In my dormitory about what has been going on with my sister and what is wrong with her.
Okay.
And then she looks at you, Serenepth, and says, what you did to her. And then she kind of like sighs, and with a much more real smirk almost, Serenepth, and she'll say, provided your schedule isn't too busy. I know you might be running into a few affairs in the weeks to come, but nevertheless, I hope that you can find time for little old me.
I wanted to talk to you.
I didn't want to talk to you. I did not. And then she stands and she'll grab her staff and she'll say, I didn't want to look at you or your... I don't want to see your face. I want you... It's impolite to say what I would like done with you. But if you're not otherwise engaged, you're invited as well. Traitor though you might be. And then she'll look to you, Winsler and Integrity, and say, have a good evening. And turn and begin to march out of the chapel, leaving you all in her...
What day is it today? Sorry, this is...
The 40th.
Probably say 22nd of summer.
Okay, so that is 17 days. I think. Yes, 17 days from now. So
Just
that
about.
is...
Do the four of you say anything to one another as she leaves, pushes those doors to the chapel open, and just walks away, leaves them hanging open in the summer breeze?
Well, that was a little scary.
I get it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was one of my sisters.
So what are we going to do?
We're going to meet with her, and we're going to talk to her. Or I guess, and I look over to Mira, she seems more inclined to talk to you, but I will go.
Yeah, I'm sorry she said that to you. But I think we should talk to her. I think she deserves to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Do you think that she would also want to go with us?
Oh, you mean it's worth offering?
I think once we all explain to her what has happened and like the involvement of some kind of like higher power, that we might, I don't know.
I wonder if she'll even accept that as a proper response.
As you all stand here and contemplate solutions, contemplate the idea that Karina will approach this from a level-headed and reasonable perspective, we're going to go ahead and end the episode there. Ben, could you give us an outro, please?
Sure, I'll give an outro. Thank you all for listening to this interesting, intense episode of Trials and Trebuchets. If you enjoyed it, please leave a review and a rating on our Apple Podcast page, wherever you get your podcasts. It'll help us out a lot. 5 stars. We don't do any paid advertising for the show, so just word of mouth. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone. It's
Tell
really
your
good.
family, please.
It's how we get out
Tell
there
strangers
to
on the
you
bus.
and new listeners. It's great. We also have links to our Instagram. You can find that at Trials and Trebs. We post a lot of cool things there, like upcoming teasers for episodes, fan art by Sam. We also commission artists to do artwork for us as well, so you can find that there.
There's tons of stuff over
If you have any fan art, please tag us.
Tag us,
We
please.
love seeing fan art. Just absolutely tag us whenever you can. It's great. We love it.
Yeah.
We also have a link to our Discord server in the description below. There you can join up and chat with a bunch of other fans of the show in a very unique sort of community environment that we've set up. It's very fun.
What a weird way to say it.
It was a little weird to say it, but
Community environment.
there's no other way for me to say it that I haven't already said it, you know. We also have additional ways that you can support us, the creators of this podcast. We have a Patreon page, and we have a variety of different tiers for you to join up to.
Such as patron NPCs.
Like
The wonderful Ice in Summer, a wonderful Tabaxi, from the wonderful Andreas, and then Echo Faye from Nat, or Natasha, presumably. Thank you both. for
Thank
your
you
wonderful
both.
characters. I
I
hope
like
that
these
you
characters.
enjoy
Thank
them being in the swim club.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We also have a variety of other things there, such as bloopers, DM notes, maps, other little goodies that you can pick up there for yourselves if you want to. It's cool. And last but not least, we have one additional means of supporting us.
Yes.
And that is called merch.
Merchandise.
Merchandise.
We do.
www.tremmerch.com.
Tremors.com.
Tremmerch.
Amazing.
Tremmerch.com.
That's such a simple and short URL.
Yeah, and we've got such a simple and short lineup of products like stickers and a shirt.
That's a nice way of putting it. Head over there, check it out. Check out everything Ben said. Thank you everyone for listening this week. That's a long episode. Until next time, see you later, folks. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.